Those of you Redditors in happy, healthy, and fulfilling relationships, what were the green flags you noticed about your partner early on in your relationship with them? Being able to discuss anything, even flaws, without them/me getting mad. Communication is the most important thing in a healthy relationship. Love is just as important though, I guess. Wait. I don't understand. You're saying when you tell them they did something that upset you, they don't turn it around on you and say you're the one being selfish cause they have anxiety? That would be a big red flag for potential emotional abuse, or at the very least manipulative behavior. Most definitely is. I had never faced emotional abuse and it was a slow move into it from the honeymoon phase. I remember feeling so bad for making her upset that I'd forget what it was I was irritated over. Or she would get mad at me for being upset at her. So what did I do? I just quit bringing stuff up. There were even times where I would just say, I'm irritated, but I know it's not logical and I need to just calm myself down. She wouldn't let me have my space at all, and would push and push to get a reaction out of me. Then back off and tell me I'm being ridiculous. Part of what makes emotional abuse so nefarious is that it creeps up on you. It makes sense, most people wouldn't stay with someone if they started off horrible. But abusers can only keep up the facade for so long before they start the manipulation to get whatever it is they want. I'm sorry you experienced that. Yeah, that sounds like more than anxiety. That's gaslighting. Please either get counseling or find a gentle way to break it off. It will only get worse. I have some elements of borderline personality disorder. I was not a good human to my partner. He stood by me only because I worked bloody hard to get better. I'm glad he wouldn't let me be awful. I kind of like me now. 17 years together. Communication is amazing. In the first few months of dating my girlfriend, I did/said something my girlfriend didn't like, and instead of being passive-aggressive about it or complaining about me to other people, which was how my family resolved things, she took me aside and explained how she felt and why she felt that way. It was really confronting at the time and really cemented how we communicated openly after that. It's been 20+ years now, so it definitely works for us. On the other hand, she'd never had people in her family encourage her or believe in her. So when she did well in studies or anything in her personal life, I'd say how proud I was of her for sticking with it, learning, growing. She says that gave her a lot of strength to push through challenges. I know she struggles like any normal person, but a part of me still sees her as being unstoppable, so I find it hard to comprehend her struggling with anything. I completely agree. When my boyfriend and I get upset with each other, we ask, "Are you upset with me?" And we will say yes. This is followed by, "Would you like some space and we can talk about it later?" Or, "Would you like to talk now?" And we either talk then, or we give each other space to cool off. Makes things so much easier. However, this will only work if each person is someone who is willing to compromise. Yes. My husband have a system like this. He is an easier talker than I am. If I am upset about something, I will warn him beforehand, usually something like, "I am frustrated by this thing but I can't articulate it very well, so I might ramble." He lets me ramble until I get a coherent thought going and then we talk it out. Conversely, if I am the one in the hot seat, he is able to just lay it right out for me and we discuss it. Sometimes we have to take breaks, but our arguments rarely last more than 30 minutes, and by the time we go to bed we are happy to still cuddle and wish each other a genuine good night. When I get upset, I have a hard time talking about it right away. I just clam up and brood for a while. The first time this happened with my husband was not long after we got married 40+ years ago. I was still upset at bedtime when I put on my robe and felt something in the pocket. It was a really gaudy artificial bird that someone had attached to one of our wedding gifts. It was so ridiculous that I burst out laughing. My husband had put it there for just that reason. After that, whenever we had an argument, one of us would hide the bird in a spot where the other one would easily discover it, and we always laughed. It reminded us not to take our disagreements too seriously. The bird was made with flocking, and some of that has worn off over the years, so it's kind of bald and bedraggled and is missing a few feathers. When friends or family get married, we buy them a ridiculous bird of their own and tell them that story. Edit. Since people have asked to see the bird, here you go, the very old gaudy bird. Web link. Flipping the bird to marital disagreements. Your husband and you have created something beautiful. That is so lovely. I think I have an idea of what kind of bird you mean. My mother used to have them all over. It's such a smart idea, so simple but it speaks volumes. You got to laugh at yourself a little to make life fun. This is beautiful. I have an autistic sister. She's currently 20 with the mental capacity of a 3-year-old. Not everyone knows how to handle that. Well, 4 years ago when my girlfriend met my family, the two immediately became best friends. My girlfriend has always cared so much for my sister and would even sit with her while I wasn't home so my mom could go have a life for herself. To this day, my sister smiles and laughs like a madman when she sees my girlfriend. I don't know how much information she can retain, but they've always loved each other, and I think my girlfriend has had a huge impact on her life. Edit, spelling. That's genuinely adorable, props to your girlfriend. She seems to remember people really well. So I wonder if that has an effect, because my girlfriend and sister were in the same kindergarten class, long before I met. Small world. Definitely a small world. Your comment just hit hard because I have a bit of a similar situation. My sister has a genetic disorder, it causes some intellectual setbacks. My boyfriend worries and cares for her as if she was his own. It's nice to have that care. And people are dicks. So to find a genuine, caring person that puts the needs of a disabled future sister-in-law before her own has always won me over. This whole thread has my heart meeting, but this one is the one that brought me nearly to tears at work. I'm really happy that you've found someone so obviously special. My partner never made fun of me or acted condescending when I didn't know something. They were also humble when it came to gaps in their knowledge too. My fiancé is extremely intelligent. He has 2 STEM degrees, a very successful smart person career, his memory is stellar, and he's able to digest new information at lightning speed. I'm intellectually average, and a lifelong heavy reader with an English degree. He's never once made me feel stupid for not knowing or understanding something, which is lovely, but what gets me even more is his absolute comfort with the gaps in his own knowledge. He never pretends to know things he doesn't, and he's not self-conscious about it. His face absolutely lights up every time someone uses an unfamiliar word. He takes such obvious pleasure in learning. It's an admirable trait and was an early sign that he was somebody I wanted to spend a lot of time with. In my experience, the most intelligent and well-read people I know have always been very humble about how much they don't know. Something about getting really informed about a topic makes you realize just how much there is to learn in the world and how much you've barely scratched the surface of it. The guys I've known to fly off the handle at being told they're wrong or are really huffy about not knowing something tend to have ego issues or just aren't as smart as they'd want you to think. 100% true. One of my uncle's best friends has a PhD in microbiology and was designing targeted cancer treatments 15 years ago, and when I asked him things he was the most humble person I know. Even in his own specialization he would say there's more things he doesn't know about than things he does. After 10+ years as an IT admin, I find myself saying much the same thing. I firmly believe, assuming you're not a narcissist, that the more you learn the more you realize you don't know. When the others ladies at my workplace were airing their complaints about their spouses, and I couldn't think of a single thing to contribute to the conversation. I had the same issue at work. All the guys in the plant were bitching about their wives and I'm just like, well, when I get home I'm going to make her dinner and then we're going to watch crappy action movies while cuddling on the couch until bedtime. I can't imagine life where I know that my wife makes me miserable and we both know I make her miserable and we don't change anything. It always makes me uncomfortable to listen to other guys, mostly older guys, complain about their wives and how annoying/controlling/whatever they are. Life is crazy and unpredictable, and if someone agrees to share their life with you long term, I think that's beautiful, and you shouldn't go around badmouthing your spouse to other people. Speaking of flags, it's a big red flag when I see somebody do that. I had a coworker at my last job who always went out of his way to complain about his wife to the rest of us, and it made us super uncomfortable. I'm a little older than the average Redditor, and I have seen a number of my friends' marriages descend into this kind of situation. In almost all of them, it's because one or both of the people in the marriage are too selfish to work through problems that were no big deal when they started but grew into something really ugly because they went unaddressed. This reminds me of my grandparents. They only ever argued because of their lack of hearing or lack of memory. They didn't make fun of each other behind their backs or anything. They managed to get to 60 years of marriage. Sadly, My grandfather died this year and now my grandmother always says I don't know how to live without him and she's super lonely now. You should always avoid to crap talk people when they are not there. I will trash talk my friends all the time in their face, but I never speak badly about them when they are not there. It also helps that I have enough self-worth to not get stuck with friends who have tons of negative things to talk about. Can say the same. Been married for 15 years now. Don't get me wrong, we get annoyed and mad at each other, but never to the point where I complain about him to others. He can laugh at himself. Yeah, so do I, but when I do it they say you need to see a therapist and you good bro, shaking my head. When I met my BF's mom for the first time back when we were just friends, she said she's been recovering from depression for 7 years and I said, well, everyone needs a hobby, and she laughed, and that's when I knew we'd get along. She's really nice and we even text sometimes. That was a risky play, I respect that. Seriously. Could have gone downhill. I've, 26 male, been in abusive relationships before this, and it was not until this partner of mine that I really understood what it was like to be in a completely happy, safe relationship. I knew that I wanted to spend more time with this girl the instant I saw her, and by the time we met a second time, we were already joking about marriage. Soon enough, it wasn't a joke. We listen to each other and respect each other. If something is getting too much for me, I still have the ability to tell her and for her not to feel bad about it. She goes out of her way to try the games and shows that interest me, even if they're out of her comfort zone. She actively asks me what I want to do and she's perfectly happy to do them, simply because they're with me. More than anything, it's more that we both have this solid idea in our head that whatever we do, ultimately we want to be with each other. There's no doubt, or suspicion, or feeling that doom is just around the corner. We want each other, and we're willing to work for it. And I think this is the first time I haven't had to settle for someone loving me less than I love them. Because when you love someone, it's not wrong to want them to reciprocate what you're doing and feeling. Luck 100. That must suck. One of the best feelings is to just laugh off things sometimes. That's why my name is about a duck. I just let crap roll off me like water on a duck. I guess there's a difference between laughing at yourself and being so self-deprecating to the point where it's just awkward and sad around other people because everyone knows it's not really a joke and that you really do think that of yourself. My stepdad can't ever be wrong, so I see OC as like someone who won't take mistakes too seriously. He drove 2 hours on his birthday to pick me up when my mom abandoned me in a parking lot, brought me home, and sat with me while my parents and I tried to talk things over. My stepfather started screaming obscenities at me for no real reason. He helped me pack everything I owned in his truck and I moved in that night. After dating for 2 months. It's been 2 years, and we got married last month. Your husband and my husband could swap stories. My husband pulled me out of a horrible situation too. Been married for 6 years now. Congrats on your wedding. My then boyfriend told me he'd take care of me when my mom told me not to come home. We moved in together 3 weeks after we started seeing each other. It's been 15 years, 2 kids, and we're still in love. Edits, awards, people? Had I known this 15 years ago, I would have moved in with him a week after and not waited all 3. It's the little things, really. Like he will always respond and pay attention to me when I called his name, even if it's for mundane stuff like me wanting to point out there's a snail on the pavement. My husband does the same, and I respond when he asks for my attention as well. This thing has actually been found to be not as little as we'd think. John Gottman's relationship research discovered that newlyweds who were happily married 6 years after their study turned towards bids for connection 86% of the time, while those who had divorced by 6 years only did so 33% of the time. When I tell my boyfriend MK attention please, he drops everything, within reason, and gives me attention. And he does the exact same to me when he wants attention edited because people are lacking critical thinking. I hope you guys will be together for a long time. I hope so too. And for you and yours as well. Before my wife and I were dating, I very quickly noticed that she always invited the loners to join in the conversation. If she noticed someone we knew sitting alone, she'd always extended an invitation to join or ask their opinion. Edit, I showed her all the comments when we woke up. She's very touched to hear so much encouragement. Her favorite sub is r/odd, If you have to make some friends, if you don't have it, go and see what life is like. Reddit link. My girlfriend does the same. One of the things I love about her. She does it so effortlessly and it seems so genuine, the other person instantly perks up, it's amazing. She does it so effortlessly and it seems so genuine. I think some people just have this innate mother hen, who wants to round up all the chicks and make sure they're safe, built in. My mom is one of those people, so I grew up thinking it was a mom thing. But my, now 4-year-old, niece is already gravitating towards finding and cheering up any wayward birds. It always makes me smile. I'm learning to develop that ability. It's always nice to have the ability to make others feel welcome. The people that are careful enough to do that are the best at it. Nice discussion, thanks y'all. I'm not native English speaker. Interesting to know that caring and careful are different word, but both can be used. Caring is the word. Otherwise, it sounds like she's only extending the invitation because she's careful not to make deranged loner enemies. Careful works too, in my opinion, as many people can be very abrasive about inviting a quiet person to join the conversation, which doesn't help. Like the people that just put you on the spot saying things like, "Why are you being quiet?" aren't caring, they are buttholes. Ah, I see. That does work. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Readers' new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.